Are those 2 days of calling? It's just you're asking people to call.
Yes, any time during those days.
Okay, for that whole
Thursday,
weekend.
Friday, or Monday. We have to call specifically the prosecutor who's involved is a guy named Barry Jonas, and this guy is an ideologue within the Department of Justice.
How long has he been there?
We've, just through Google and our other efforts, we've been able to
Your secret terrorist efforts.
Tracking his
You Googled him.
Tracking his activities over the last 6 or 7 years, over the last 10 years. He was one of the lead prosecutors for the most infamous case of persecution of Arabs and Muslims in this country. It's a case called the Holy Land Five.
Yes.
Muslims
Amazing.
are required by their religion. Okay, this will sound familiar to every other religion, faith-based person. Muslims are required by their religion to give to charity. It's one of their good deeds they have to do. The largest charity of Muslim charity in the U.S. was headquartered here in Chicago. It was called the Holy Land Foundation, and after 9/11, 5 of the leaders of the Holy Land Foundation were put on trial for material support to a foreign terrorist organization, and in the worst cases, they were given 65 years in prison for what? Sending money to Gaza to build hospitals and to build orphanages. And Barry Jonas was the prosecutor in that case, and he's our prosecutor in the event. And the U.S. Attorney they've told us, they are preparing multiple indictments against us for some multiple of the 23 people that they eventually subpoenaed to the grand jury. So our case is not over. We need the help and support of everybody who cares about civil liberties, everybody who cares about who was opposed to war, and so please, if you have the presence of mind on those days, come to the Federal Building, 3:30 on the 20th of September, or call. Go to stopfbi.net. Get the phone number or call Barry Jonas and tell him to drop this investigation.
And that number is 312-353-5300, extension, get ready, this is a long extension, 68027. So that's the number people are calling.
That's correct, Barry Jonas.
But not until September 24th.
Oh, you can call him anytime. But
okay.
Specifically, we're asking people to jam those phone lines for that several days.
People should definitely jam the phone lines. This is a many amendments civil rights issue. I mean, if you want to be able to stand up and say this is wrong at any given time, it's really one of our sacred rights here, and this is treading on it. This is pounding on it. This is ridiculous.
When people say to me, does protest work? This is such a strange thing that Stephanie and I and the others are going through. But we've concluded, well, it must work, because why else the hell would they be doing this? Because that's all we've ever done is been protesters.
It's so true. This is, it's a remarkable thing that you're going through. And this week, let me just ask you to, before I let you go, to comment on what has gone on this week. A slew of us were awakened with the wisdom of Mitt Romney earlier this week, because he wanted to jump on some news and be the first guy. Boy, oh boy. Open mouth, insert foot, and continue. So we've got front page full of burning American flags and angry citizens all over the Middle East.
Well, for me, I mean, I haven't read every article. For me, it's not exactly clear, what the intersection of forces, who made this movie, who planned these protests. But there are two things that are immediately clear to me. One is that the insurgents that we backed and put into power and armed in Libya, as we are backing and arming in Syria, includes a heavy percentage of Al-Qaeda. All right, we claim both administrations that have been in
I
power.
think we should investigate ourselves.
I think so too. We are backing Al-Qaeda. We are giving them guns to bring down governments that we find that the United States government doesn't like. And this is in part blowback. But the other more general point is this. As long as we maintain these wars and occupations and support for, unjust occupations like what the Palestinians live under every day,
Yes.
anti-American sentiment is going to grow.
Heck yeah.
And we,
We should know this by now.
the only way out of this is to get our troops out of there. We're coming up on the 11th anniversary of the Afghan war, and we'll be marking that anniversary as well with a protest downtown. So everybody, while right now the focus in the city of Chicago is to support our teachers and our kids and our public schools. But don't forget, we still have a foreign policy that has to be ended. We have got to stop our wars of aggression and bring that money home and stop bringing those chickens home to roost.
Yeah, so true. So true. Wow, you just connected us with the co-op, the coop tour later. Bringing those chickens home to roost. Sorry, I'm just a goofy gal today. So the National Call-In Day to End the Investigation of Activists is September 24th, and that whole week, really.
September 20th to the 24th.
20th to 24th. And the number you want to remember, and you can also find this on Facebook under is the name of the page, National Call-In Day?
To End the Investigation of Activists.
Okay, so on Facebook it is all of this information and where you can find out in more detail what the heck the U.S. Attorney's been up to. But the number for all of you out there is 312-353-5300, extension 68027. And that's, you'd be calling U.S. Attorney Barry Jonas, who has been a thorn in many people's side, and he needs to find more useful work.
Right. What could the FBI have been doing in the last 2 years instead of this? Like, maybe they could have been investigating violent right-wing extremists who go around shooting congresspeople.
Or maybe who shoot doctors who perform services for women.
Or maybe they could have gone to Wall Street and investigated the bankers who stole our nation's patrimony.
Oh, that. Yeah, that. What a good idea. Let's call this guy up and give him some alternative work prospects.
Some suggestions.
Some suggestions from the peeps. Well, yep, and we do have our peanut gallery who's suggesting terrorism. Stop that, Hannah. We don't do terrorism. All right, so Joe, thank you for hanging in there. And tell Stephanie, give her our love.
I will.
And I'm glad that you're now in Pilsen, a brand new start, close to work.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And Stephanie is very excited to be back at work on her revolutionary lemonade stand.
Very good.
And stay tuned for more news about that.
Excellent, excellent. Joe Iosbaker, let's hear it for a great activist who keeps us informed, keeps us going. We'll take a short musical break if we can.